In my playbook tonight, the GOP's government takeover play on healthcare riled up their base so much that they're using it again to target education reform. So far, though, it's not working. Today, the House of Representatives passed a bill that would end government subsidies to private student lenders. Instead, that money would go straight to the students. But apparently, Republicans don't think that that should help Americans afford a college education. Here's what they had to say about the bill.
This is indeed a government takeover of an industry.
This measure before us usurps even a modicum of private sector involvement.
This bill is another government takeover of parts of our lives. It is an insidious intrusion into education at all levels by the federal government.
Sound familiar, huh? Joining me now is the sponsor of the bill, Chairman of the House and Education Labor Committee, Representative George Miller of California. Congressman, great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Ed.
Doesn't this just cut out the middleman? Isn't that all this legislation does?
That's what this legislation does. Right now, under the program as it currently existed, we took money from the Treasury, we gave it to the banks, we gave them a subsidy. If there was any default, we guaranteed that loan. What we now understand is that we could take that money, save the taxpayers over the next 10 years $87 billion, and we could give that money to benefit students and families that are borrowing money to reduce the cost of the loans, to help the lowest income people who are qualified to go to college, and make campus-based loans available to help students who run into economic trouble during the school year, and make a world of difference for these families.
Congressman, you're telling us that this will save money and it will make it easier for students to get money to go to college. And I looked at the vote this afternoon, 253 to 171. You only got 6 Republicans to vote yes on this. What's their problem on that, other than the sound bites that we just heard about it being a government takeover? What's their problem?
Well, the lobbyists from the lending institutions have been in full flight for the last couple of months, pounding on legislators' doors, telling them that somehow they were still entitled to a subsidy. As these banks, as these lending institutions became some of the wealthiest and most profitable corporations in America, they insisted that they were entitled to a subsidy at the same time. And we said, no longer are you entitled to that. What we're going to do is take that money and put it out in behalf of students who have to borrow money to pay for their education, families that have to borrow money to pay for their education. We're going to make it more affordable. We're going to lower the interest rate, and we're going to make sure that people can complete their college education.
Okay. Congressman, I also want to ask you about the controversial issues surrounding ACORN. There was another vote in the House today, and it was 345 to 75, and that is to cut all funding to ACORN. Your thoughts on this? First, how did you vote, and what do you make of this?
I voted for that resolution so we could move this bill to the conference committee with the Senate. I'm not going to lose the opportunity to provide America's students and families that this bill provides, to take those subsidies away from the bank and help them. And on ACORN, we have ongoing investigations in the House. I think the Senate voted once or twice already to strip ACORN of its fundings. We'll see what the results of that investigation in the House are, and other investigations, and the Congress will make its mind up.
Now, yesterday, Senator Shelby said on this network he thought ACORN was corrupt pretty much across the board. They've been doing this for years. They got problems everywhere. You agree with that?
I don't agree with that at all. I think they've had some very irresponsible people working for them that made some terrible decisions. But ACORN has been very important over many decades of empowering poor people, helping people register to vote, all kinds of economic activities on the behalf of those who are many times disenfranchised in this society. But they've made some horrendous mistakes. I don't know whether or not they can survive them. We'll see what the investigations say.
Congressman George Miller, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.